The first thing that comes to mind when you hear about a cursed doll is probably a vintage Victorian porcelain figurine that gives you goosebumps. Today they are hard to find, but these are not the only toys that inspire fear. For example, Elsa from the Disney film Anna and the Snow Queen, which was given as a Christmas gift in 2013, made the front pages of local Houston newspapers. When you press the buttons on Elsa's necklace, the doll utters phrases from the cartoon Anna and the Snow Queen and begins to sing Let It Go. Mum Emily Madonia, who was lucky enough to receive the doll, said, "For 2 years she sang in English. There is no button to switch between them. The family bought the doll more than 6 years ago and never changed the batteries." According to the woman, the doll continued to talk and sing even when turned off. Finally, in December 2019, the family decided to throw away the strange toy. However, a few weeks later, she was found again in a closet in the living room. The kids said they didn't put her there because the kids wouldn't dig through the trash. The girl's mother told KPRC2 Houston News. At that point, Elsa completely stopped singing the English version of Let It Go and only sang it in Spanish when the button was pressed. The family threw the doll away again and put it at the bottom of the garbage can. Later, when they returned from a short family trip, they found Elsa again in their garden. This time, she mailed it to a family friend in Minnesota, who attached the doll to the front door of his van. The doll has not yet returned to its original owner. The Willis Mansion in Villisca, Iowa, a favorite haunt of ghost hunters and horror fans, was the site of a mass murder in 1912, when 6 children and 2 adults were hacked to death with axes. In 1994, the mansion was bought by new owners, who restored it in the same place where the tragedy of 1912 took place. The mansion has become a tourist attraction and now offers accommodation for $428 a night. Visitors to the hotel often find that there is a lot going on in the house, including ghosts with axes and screaming children. November 2014 was a particularly bleak month for homeowners. Robert Stephen Rawson Jr. stayed at the house with friends, and later that day his friends found him with a stab wound to the chest that he believed to be self-inflicted. Friends called an ambulance, and the young man was taken to the hospital by helicopter. As the police later reported, Rawson inflicted the self-inflicted wounds around 12:45 a.m., the same time that the massacre began at the estate in 1912. Rawson recovered from his wound, but he never told what really happened that night. The incident upset the owner of the estate, Martha Lynn. Of course, the estate had a reputation, but it was not what I expected. I don't want tourists to come here with the fear that something like this could happen. The estate is open to tourists day and night. In 2015, the Brezius family in Auburn, Pennsylvania, decided to insulate their home. During the work, they discovered that dozens of animal carcasses had already been used as insulation in the walls. According to Fox, the family removed the newspaper-wrapped animal carcasses from the 1930s and 1940s, along with the spices, for examination. Experts have concluded that these are either Native American ceremonies or traces of the culture of the local Dutch who arrived on the continent and settled in Pennsylvania in the 1600s and 1700s and performed various religious rites. The problems faced by the first American settlers were reflected in the nature of their rituals. Many of them were related to the treatment of livestock, the search for water, and the treatment of diseases. However, there were also dark spells and devil worship rituals. It is important to note how they trained their dogs to be loyal. Eating such food guaranteed the dog's loyalty. However, the mold on the carcasses of animals and on the walls of the Pennsylvania house affected the health of the family. Unfortunately, the smell of carcasses could not be eliminated either. In 2012, friends of 35-year-old teacher Danielle Harkins from St. Petersburg, Florida, noticed that her friend began to get involved in demonic rituals. Soon after, she was arrested on charges of abusing former students. Gathering her students around a fire near the St. Petersburg Pier, Danielle Harkins insisted that the children in her group needed to exorcise demons. Police said she told them to do this by making a cut in the skin and then setting the wounds on fire to prevent the evil spirits from returning. When Harkins held a lighter to one teen's hand, the light went out because of the wind, so she decided to put perfume on her hand before lighting it, leaving the boy with second-degree burns. Another boy had a cut on his neck from a broken bottle. The teacher cauterized the wound with a hot key. The police learned about the incident from one of the teenagers who participated in the ritual. Others did not tell their parents or comment on the events after Harkins' arrest. She was charged with aggravated battery and child abuse.